It is ACX Thursday, baby. Welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. Well, welcome. It's great to have you here, and I hope you and your family are doing well during these crazy times. This is ACX Thursday, and today, this episode, we're going to be talking about, which I'm really excited about. We're going to be diving into this idea this title that I wrote, 3 samples a day keeps the crickets away. I know, no one accused me of not being overly dramatic or attempting to be poetic. So that's that's my title for the day. I don't know, did I do the introduction of A VO's Journey? I can't even remember now. This show is about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. I hope if I did it again, I apologize. I don't even know if I did it, so I'm sorry about that. Things have been crazy, amongst other things. Business has been very good, and hopefully you're experiencing the same thing. I think that it's always a temperament, right? We're always trying to temper with the idea that, there's so many tough and tragic things that are going on in the world right now. But at the same time, we also have that responsibility to support our families and to try to grow our businesses in the midst of all of this. So, it is good to be thankful and be grateful for all the things going on and all the people out there helping to protect us. So as always, and I like to do this in the shows, thank you all of our frontline workers, really from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So let's get into this. If you are new to ACX Thursdays, it's very similar to Fiverr Fridays. We have a topic, and we basically go into different areas. In this particular case, we're going to be talking about ACX today. So a couple of things. I have a little spiel I'm going to go through, and just like the title that we talked about, 3 samples a day keeps the crickets away. And then you can have questions, comments. You'll post them in the chat section, whether you're on YouTube, Instagram, whether you are on Twitter, or you are on Facebook. Go ahead and post them. I know sometimes Facebook can be a little sketchy of whether or not it comes through. So if you feel like you're posting in Facebook and that's not working, just head over to A VO's Journey YouTube channel, and I'll be happy to answer on YouTube. So anyways, well, let's go ahead and dive into what we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to be talking about the simple way to rig the ACX algorithm, or lack thereof, in your favor. So basically, there's 2 ways on ACX, right, that you get business, right? You have one way where you can go on there and audition and get business that way, or the other way is that you can put up samples, right, and you're on your profile, and people can hire you based on your samples. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, or you've been following me, you know that I'm a big advocate for putting up samples as opposed to just auditioning, because with a sample, I feel like, the sample has the power to reach so many different people, whereas an audition can usually only most of the let me say most of the time it does not actually get listened to by the one person, but hopefully it does, right? But still, that's why I like samples instead of auditions. And in the past, the reason why auditions, I think, were so heavily done as well was because of the fact that we didn't have the ability to get ourselves out there like we do now, especially on the internet, over the whole entire world. You know what I mean? I put up a sample, and anyone, from anywhere in the world can come and view it. Whereas before, auditioning was very it was very binary. You either went to the audition or you did not. You know what I mean? And you either got in, or was a cattle call, or was not. And I think the sad thing is a lot of us are feeling that that pinch on sites like voices.com or Voice123 where, they come out with something exciting. Like I was a big advocate for, I tried out and I've been trying out voices.com and Voice123, but, been struggling getting any work there because, again, it is the cattle call thing where you've got to constantly audition and a lot of the times people don't even hear it. So it seems almost like a waste of time. So today with ACX, we're going to be talking about, first off, the algorithm and how it works. So basically, if you're familiar with it, there's two little buttons on ACX on the top right when it comes to the search, and it's either producers for hire or titles accepting auditions. And if you go to titles accepting auditions, that's the page where you go and you find books to audition for. But if you go to producers for hire, right, like you're an author coming on to find a producer, you might want to just go and find a producer that you like to listen to or you like their voice as opposed to listening to hundreds of auditions, right? So you can go to that and then it comes up with this list, okay? 3 people per row, and then I think there's tons of there's three columns and then tons of rows. Okay, but so it's really crazy. But here's the thing. The algorithm on ACX is basically the first person at that moment who puts up a sample goes to the top of the list. It's not like Fiverr or Google or any of these other sites where there is a underlying requirements where it pulls from, how popular you are, what ratings you are, what's your page, authority, all that jazz. Okay. Or, the keywords, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't do any of that. It's basically when you post something, it pops up on the top of the page, right? So because of that, if you post samples regularly, you are going to come up regularly at the top of the page. And like I always say, please, just ingrain this in your mind. If you want to get steady work in anything online, you have to be seen on a regular basis. You have to be seen, you have to be heard on a regular basis. You cannot be, the person in the dark somewhere over there where you're just hoping a stray dart hits you. You have to be seen. And the way to be seen is being in the top the first page and the top of that first page in as many places you can be. Google, of course, is going to be the most competitive place there is on the planet to be at the top of pages for specific keywords. Okay, because we know that the first three on the top of a page on Google, literally get like 95% of all the searches. Okay, I mean, that is massive. So if you take that idea and then move to these different sites like ACX we're talking about today or Fiverr or any of these other ones, being at the top of the page is everything. And in this case for ACX, being at the top of the page gives you a lot of leverage too. So if you were to put up 3 samples a day, and you keep doing that on a daily basis, you are going to regularly come up at the top of the page. This is pivotal to your success. Okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to go through some ways for you to be able to do 3 different samples a day. Okay? And I do want to, again, excuse myself from the Instagram group because you guys will just have to keep staring at my pretty mug while I show people on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter what they're seeing on the screen. So first things first, if you see this on the screen now, you can see that I'm on my ACX account. And what I was talking about earlier is, like we said, if you want to see what I'm talking about for the searches, you go to search, you go to producers for hire. Okay. Now, here's the deal. This pops up and you see that you have these top 3 here, and there's 110,185 samples. So the likelihood that someone is going to find you if you are not posting samples regularly is slim to none. Okay. More so to the never. However, if you are posting samples regularly, like I'm suggesting you do here, this is going to keep you on this top row. Okay, now the reason why I say 3 is because you've got 3 different samples here on this front row, because each column, there's only 3 columns. Okay, but so you'd be on that top row, you'd have all 3 slots on that top row. And if you post 3 samples, someone will come in and they will look and they will see your name and they can listen to them. And then by that, they can then go and book you or send you a contract. The positive thing here is you can decide whether or not you want to actually do, the work or not. There might be a contract you don't like. It might be a contract you really like. Okay, it's an exciting thing because, again, you are putting yourself, it's leveraging the internet, what it was meant to do, in my opinion. Okay, the auditions are great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to stop auditioning. But what I'm telling you is that by putting your stuff up here, you should be doing this. This should be just as important daily to you as it should be auditioning, because people are going to see this. A lot more people are going to see you here than how many auditions you could pump out in a day, right? Okay, so that's just something to think about. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want you to be like, all right, so the next thing you'll be like, all right, Anthony, I got that. So basically, Anthony, how are we going to actually find something? How are we going to find all these samples to audition with? All right, glad you asked. So I've come to Amazon here, okay, and I'm just on Amazon, and I'm going to run through with you. I'm going to show you how you can find work, okay, to use as samples. First and foremost, you do not have to worry about using or you do not have to worry about any copyright or anything like that on making samples. You do not have to do that, because you are going to slate your work by giving the name of the book and the author. Okay, and then you are going to read 30 seconds to 45 seconds or a minute or whatever of the sample. That is not a copyright issue. You are not selling the book. You are not putting it off as your own, your own writing. It's not, you don't own the book. It's just a sample. Okay, no one is going to say anything to you. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to show you on this screen what you need to do. So I just went to Amazon. Go to all, click down here. All right, you're gonna go down here. Right, this is gonna pop up. You're gonna go down to the Kindle store. You're gonna click on that. All right, and I think what's happened is, let me click on this. Let me go back and click on, because I had it earlier. So Kindle store. Now, when you hit that, I want you to go to search. Okay. Now, just search with nothing in there. That's going to bring up the whole Kindle store. Then you can go to actually Kindle eBooks. Okay, just like this. And when you go to this, what's going to happen is you're going to see this thing down here where it's going to give you all of these categories. So this is a really exciting thing, because you could be trying to target a certain category. So let's say you're, I'm just looking at these. Let's say you're doing business and money. All right, you like doing nonfiction, and you want to put out some nonfiction samples in business and money. So basically, I hit that, and what you can see is this pops up all of these books. Okay, and this is great. I'm sure everyone has heard of this book. Hopefully you've read it, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You can click on that, and the wonderful thing about this is all you have to do is, once you click on that, click on the button, and it will give you, of course, right? It will give you the name, the title, but it will also give you, it'll give you introduction. It will start you off on the first chapter. All right. You have all of this here that you can read as a sample. Now, of course, you're not going to read all that as a sample, but you're just going to have a small section as a sample here. Okay. And, part 1, paradigms and principles. Okay. You can read, a few paragraphs. All right, you've got a fantastically written and recognizable book that you can do. Now, some people are going to say to you, listen, it's great to use wonderful writing, but don't do things that are so recognizable that someone might have a preconceived notion in their mind, because if you don't sound like that, it's going to sound weird. In this particular case, I don't think it's so that's a big theater thing, right? It's not as big as a deal, because when you are doing this, you don't have to worry so much about someone, hiring you to do 7 habits of highly effective people. So like in the theater, the adage is if you're going to audition for a Disney character, okay, the idea is don't do the Disney character, because if you're not like that Disney character, or if you're not like another character they think they know very well, that you might come across as being not what they're looking for because they have a preconceived notion. Does that make sense? So, but in this particular case, it's very unlikely that you're going to have that issue, all right? But if you do ever find that issue, that's okay. Just move on to something else. But the point I'm trying to make is this is a great way for you to be able to have unlimited amount of books in order to work with, all right? So we can even go, you can do new releases, you can look at any of these things. Let's see, Unbeatable Mind. I don't know, it just looks like kind of a cool cover. Again, it's Kindle. I can pop in here. I can go in here and I can do, again, the title. I can do the first couple of paragraphs, okay? Now, we've talked about another thing as well. If you notice, it does have an audiobook. So here's another little tip I want to show you. Now that I've showed you, you can go through you could go to different categories in here. By the way, we have business and money, but you can see you can go to all these different ones here. But now I want to tell you, let's say that you are trying to get better at your ACX auditions, right? And you're trying to figure out, hey, how do I get better at my ACX auditions? I've got the copy, but you know what? I don't know exactly how, you know what I mean? Somebody in, like, well, let's say economics. You know what I mean? Let's say I'm trying to do, I've got books, I want to do things in economics. I've always loved numbers. I've always loved the economy, that kind of thing. But I don't know exactly how, I should narrate them. Okay. So this is what's really cool. If you go over to Audible, all right, and, you can come in here. And this is what I love about all this stuff, right? You can come into Audible and you can go to those categories and then listen to what they are. So let's say that I go to, let's just type it in, economics. All right, so if I go to here, you can see that it's bringing up different things, over 2,000 results about basic economics, et cetera, et cetera. What I can do is I can go in here and literally just play.
Many of the basic principles of economics may seem obvious, but the implications to be...
So I can listen to all of these samples now, and it can give me a really good idea of how I should sound based on what everybody else is sounding. I mean, look at these aggressive. So these are good books to listen to find out the style, the tone, the pacing, the feel for what types of narrations are being used for these types of books. Because I can guarantee you the person who wants to hire you to do their book, they are going to be, listening to these things and thinking that their book should sound that way. Okay? So this is a great way to then know how to do it. So let's recap. Okay? You've got 3 samples a day. So if you did 3 samples a day and you post them every single day, you could pick a time that you do it every single day, or you could vary it to see if something works. All right, so now I've showed you where you can go to find unlimited amount of copy to read for your samples. Just remember, and I'm big about this, slate your work. Okay, meaning that I'm really big about, if anything, make sure you give credit to the author. You're saying the title and the author, okay? Just make sure you're giving credit to that. And it also gives you credence, I think, because it's nice, it breaks it up, it gives an air of professionalism when you're doing samples, okay? Especially in audiobooks. So that's something that I really like. So you've got this, you've got unlimited amount of books you can choose from. And then if you're wondering how to deliver them, you can come here to Audible and you can listen to how people in that genre and that category are delivering the books. All right, so you've got 3 different things here that you can do. And like I said, 3 samples a day. Which one is it? 3 samples a day, all right, keeps the crickets away. Okay, so I hope that has helped you. Let me switch back over to the main screen here. Thank you, people on Instagram, for sticking by. I hope that even though you weren't able to see, I hope that gave you some information because I narrated it okay. But hopefully that helps everybody. And what I would love to do is I would love to challenge you. I'd love to challenge you for 10 days. 10 days. I would love for you to post 3 samples each day for 10 days. All right. It would be great, I think, just to make all things equal if you pick a time during the day. Like maybe you pick, each day you're going to post samples at 10 a.m. All right. And you're going to do the 3 samples the night before and post them at 10 a.m. the next morning. I challenge you to do a 10-day, 3 samples a day. So that means by the end of the 10 days, that's 30 samples each day, not 6 samples one day and then 3 days later you put up 3 samples. I mean 3 samples each day. The consistency is imperative, all right? We'll call it the 10-day challenge. I'd love for you to try that out, and then when we come back, I want to hear about your successes in the chats. Message me, let me know about what's going on, all right? What's working for you, what's not working for you, but challenge yourself. Challenge yourself, and let's see how this turns out, okay? By the way, it won't be if, it'll be when you get contracts, all right, make sure that you are prepared for what you will accept and what you won't accept, because people will send you contracts. Some might be for a lot of money. Some might be for royalty share on a 10-hour long book that you're like, sorry, no. Here's the thing. You do not get penalized for not accepting work on ACX. There is no penalty. Also, a little other known fact, you can message the people that you are, that have sent something to you to negotiate with them. Also, ACX is like the wild, wild west. It's not like Fiverr. It's not like these other places that can, they can actually, I wouldn't say discipline, but, they can penalize you. There you go. They can penalize you for, not doing certain things right with the customers. But ACX doesn't work that way because you have to go through ACX no matter what. So it's not as if, you're going to get in trouble if you work off of ACX, because in order to go through the indie program on ACX, you have to go through ACX, to upload the stuff. So, don't be afraid to negotiate. Don't be afraid to say no. That's why you're doing this, is to continue to have work coming in. All right. But that's the 10-day challenge, and keep me posted about how everything is going. All right, you guys, let's dive into questions, comments. Let's see what we got here. If you've got any questions, comments, either about what we just went over or anything else regarding audiobooks, ACX, auditioning, putting up samples, now is the time to ask. All right, let's look. We've got over on Instagram, we got Walter, we got Micro, what's up? Microphone Rocky, I love that. Jose, what's up? We got Bucarelli. We got Bendy Joe, and Melena. I apologize if I totally messed up your name. My bad. And let's see. Over on YouTube, we got Out of Bounds. What's up? Staying safe during this pandemic. We got Zach. Hello, despite everything's Fiverr is good right now. That's good, Zach. I'm glad to hear it, my friend. Flyer here. Boom. What's up? Samir. Hello. Ruby. What's up, Rudy? Let's see. Does ACX have any method for multiple actors to team on a project for royalty share? Great question, Rudy. So, like I was saying, ACX is more like the wild, wild west. So they do not have a specific setup. Like they don't have a place where it's for multiple actors. Like it's not a category, but it is all, since you don't actually pay through ACX, except unless it's royalty share, it can be paid to whoever. You know what I mean? So it can be divvied up to different PayPal accounts or whatever. So the answer is no, they do not have a separate category on there, but it's done quite often, and it's just put together usually by the author or a production house or something like that, or a team of people. So great question, Rudy. Really great question. Let's see. Voiceover Angela. What's up? How you doing, Angela? Let's see. Big Jim. What's up, Big Jim? Let's see. Samir. Thank you, buddy. I am doing well. Thank you, sir. Now, do you constantly add or rotate out? Okay, good thing. So, Samir's asking, do you constantly rotate out? No, you just keep adding. Just keep adding. And I would say after the 10 days, all right, after the 10 days, go ahead and you can definitely rotate out some on the bottom. But here's the thing, and this is what I don't want you to do. I'm a big advocate for this as well, even though some people are like, I don't want to do that. But here's the thing. Please try to continue to do new work. Don't keep putting up old things, all right? And I'm going to tell you why. Because as you get better at this, all right, you want to keep putting out fresh material. Okay? Don't keep regurgitating old material. Put out fresh material. Continue to put out fresh material. That is so vital and pivotal to your growth, to the growth of your business. So I've worked with some people, and it's a good question because some people have asked, hey, can we just rotate, if I have a library, can I just rotate some older ones? All right. Unless you are so ridiculously busy that you can't put samples up and you're trying to keep up with the challenge. Okay. I understand that per se, but the other things, not okay. I really would love to see you put up new content. Okay. So let's see. Walter says challenge accepted. Nice. Michael says, awesome tips today. Thank you, Michael. Flyer here says 10-day challenge accepted. Great. I'm excited. All right. Rudy says, oh, man. A equals, oh, man. Homecraft Chronicles. Can I finish my Fiverr revamp first? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Absolutely. Let's see. I'm keeping Ruby off the pool. That's good. Walter, Anthony, Angela, and group, please be safe. Thank you, Walter. I appreciate that. All right, we got a couple things over here in the group. We've got Milena. Is there a market for children's books? Absolutely. There's a massive market for children's books right now. I think that's my daughter in the background. There's a massive market because think about it, all children at home. Like my daughter's crying right now. She needs a children's book. It's just what happened. I totally agree. And I would definitely be putting those out as well. Let's see. Actually, the second attempt was almost perfect. Awesome. Let's see. Microphone Rocky. I took a pic of a bank ad while at the ATM and made a sample out of the text. Would that be a copyright issue? No, it's not a copyright issue. It's not a copyright issue because of a couple things. One, you are not pawning off any of this stuff as your own material for the fact that you're trying to sell something that you own or claim that it's yours, right? So if you are putting out an ad like you're promoting your bank from an ad they wrote, I mean that's not a copyright issue because you're not like saying that they have to pay you for something, they have to pay you for the product that your bank is selling. Does that make sense? So, and besides, the bank is not going to come after you for promoting their bank. It's just not going to happen. I think where you get in trouble is when like music, for example. Music, for example, can be pawned off because that can be dangerous because people usually pay for the music. Right? They pay for the right to use the music, but we are doing samples. Okay? We're doing samples and people don't pay us for our samples. They pay us to do their work, okay, based off of the idea of what we can do using other work. So it's definitely tricky language, but no one's gonna say anything. I mean, your bank's not gonna track you down and be like, you used my ad that was on the ATM. Get rid of it. That's not fair. We don't want you promoting us. They're not gonna happen. Don't worry about it. All right, let's see. Good question. Let's see. Flyer here says, when you slate on each demo, do you slate narrator name, author name, and title, or a different way? So the correct way, of course, to slate an audiobook demo, the old rule of thumb is you got someone, the first thing is you got someone from the opposite sex. So like if you were a male, it was your demo and you were a male, you get a female to say your name and narrator. So it would be something like Anthony Pica, narrator. Okay, that's the first part that you say your name and then narrator, or you have someone of the opposite sex says your name or narrator. Then you go into the first sample, which you say the book title like The Guardians by John Grisham. Okay, then you pause, then you go into that sample. Then after you're done with that sample, Okay, you do a split pause, say the next name, right? The next title. I mean, you don't re-say your name again. You don't say Anthony Pica narrator again. Okay, you only say that once in the beginning, but you say the next slot, which is again like the name of the next book and the author's name. Then you go into that, right? So that is something that is a how you slate audiobooks. But for the case of on your samples for ACX, you can put your name on the front end, which is fine. But it's just more important because they should be on your profile. They're going to see your name anyways. It's just make sure you slate their name, the title of the book, and the title or the name of the author. Okay, good question. But that's how you slate. By the way, here's a little tip on slating. Make sure that when you're ending, okay, like you end, like for example, if you're doing something like serious and you do something like, and he died a horrible death. Anthony Pica, this is the next book. Like, do you see what I mean? Make sure that when you end a sample and you go into the next one, on the same slate, on the same demo, that you're not, you're giving a pause, you're resetting, and you're not doing these opposite things that sound really weird when combined with each other. Okay, it's just another little aesthetic tip. But other than that, yes, great question. That's exactly how you do it. All right, you guys, any other questions, any other thoughts? We've got VoiceZam. What's up, VoiceZam? I use VoiceZam, and I'm very happy to be using it on my website. Thank you, VoiceZam, for all you guys do. And I recently added videos as well to my demos on my website with VoiceZam. So I really appreciate that. And thank you for watching today, you guys. Let's see. We've got Mark says, is there a ratio of auditions to actual jobs I should aim for? So when I was in the heat or the thick of things, I usually had a 10 to 1, 10 or 12 to 1, meaning that I would do 10 or 12 auditions, and every 10 or 12 auditions I did, I would get a book offer. Sometimes it would be less, and sometimes it would be a little bit more, but that was pretty much it. So I knew that if I had done that, I would wake up with some book offers. So that was what I did. However, I know a lot of people who do 5 or 6 auditions and get books, or they do more auditions and get books. But the idea with the, yes, VoiceZam is cool. I love VoiceZam. The idea here is that, you are putting out samples, because more people are going to be able, again, to see the samples than the auditions. It's great to audition, but samples are like, little, they're like little investments that just keep on giving back to you, right? That's why I love them. So I would really suggest that you keep up on the samples even more so than the auditions, because the samples are going to bring you work on a more consistent basis with less work than your auditions. And remember, your samples have the possibility of seeing of more people listening to them than one person listening to your audition. Here's the thing. If you did one audition, okay, you have maybe a 50% chance, probably less, but if we'll give a nice number, a 50% chance to get it listened to. But if you do a sample, okay, by the way, 50% chance of one person listening. But even if you did a sample and you kept that same number, 50% chance, you have a way bigger audience that's possibly going to listen to that sample and could listen to that sample. And you could spread that sample around. Even if you take an audition and use that as a sample, okay, that's something I like to take work that's already out, because it's already put out in the public, and it's not something that an author might have some qualms with for whatever reason. I've never had a problem doing either, so I don't worry about it, but it's just something to think about. But good question. Let's see. Anna says, Anna, what's up? She says, tips for cookbooks, please. Yes, my tip for you is pray. Pray hard, pray every day, take lots of medicine. Cookbooks are rough. I'm not going to lie. I've done cookbooks and it can be a challenge. I think the thing with cookbooks is a couple things, and I'm not sure exactly when you're talking about tips for cookbooks, if you mean tips on how to narrate them or tips on, how to get more of them. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying, but from a narration standpoint, I always look at cookbooks as you have to make sure that you are narrating that book with the proper pauses, how you would, be listening to someone if you're watching a show narrated. It's not always easy. They're not always easy. It is challenging, and it can be it can be a pain in the backside a little bit, especially with all of the different formatting that comes with cookbooks. My suggestion to you is this: before you get when you get the cookbook or you get the contract, reach out to the author or the publisher and ask them some simple questions about, hey, I was looking at the cookbook. I love the formatting. Could you tell me, I had certain questions about how you want this read? Because, for example, as we all know, tables read on tables when they're on the page, they look great, like tables, charts, etc. But when we go to narrate them, they lose a lot of their effectiveness, right? So I always actually defer to not reading tables or charts unless unless I decide, because 99.9% of the times we are also the director, we're the narrator as well as the director. But unless I decide that it's pivotal, it's so vital that the chart or the table is to be read, or that I discuss it with the author or the publisher, the person who holds the rights to it, and we both determine that that's the best course for it. Do you know what I mean? But most of the times I do not include those things. So with cookbooks, it's important for you to talk about that, as well as all of the different, because depending on what cookbook you're reading, what metric system is it using? You know what I mean? Those little things are a pain in the backside, right? So great question. All right, let's see. Over on Instagram, we got Bendy Joe. If you were going to use a pseudonym for, say, erotic fiction, should you have a separate profile as that pseudonym? Good thing, Bendy. No, you do not need a separate profile for that pseudonym. ACX allows you to, at the end of each book that you put up, ACX allows you to type in the pseudonym name. It does not show up for the public to see under your profile. Does that make sense? You can't see, like, people can't come to your profile and see that you're using a pseudonym. And you don't want to set up a different account because everything has to go through your main account. Bendy, that's a fantastic question, because when I first started out, I wondered that as well. But no, you do not need a separate one. The pseudonym is there for the anonymity, and it really does help out a lot, but you want to keep it under the same account. And again, no one can search your profile and find out, that you're under a different pseudonym. They can't do that. The only people that can see your profile is you on not your profile, but see your the back, behind the scenes, you know what I mean? Your list of books that you do. You're the only person who can see all the books, no matter what pseudonym you're under. Does that make sense? So good question, Benny Joe. No, you can just use a pseudonym. You don't need to open a separate account. All right, let's see. Walter says, when I started on ACX, I was chosen after my second audition. That was definitely beginner's luck. Never happened again. Okay, when I started, I was chosen. Okay. All right, that's fine. It could be luck, or you just got to keep rolling with it, my man. Yeah, I'm going to audition for Naughty Books now. All right, well, there's a lot of work out there for that category of books, no doubt about it. Absolutely, Bendy Joe. All right, let's see. I have a cookbook to narrate right now. Angela. Anna says, pray, thanks, yes. How to narrate. Okay, good. Hopefully that helped out. And let's see. Michael says, the concept of samples versus auditions is so common sense, but huge. You are a genius. Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. And I really, hope that you guys embrace this 10-day challenge and really go after it, because I think you're going to find some amazing things happening. All right, let's see. Walter, Rudy. Okay, you guys. Hey, listen, thank you so much. I really appreciate you all watching today. If you get an opportunity, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, share. If you're on Twitter, retweet. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and like and share this with someone that you think needs to see it. If you're on Instagram, thank you guys so much. Share this with your story. I would really appreciate it. And as always, if you haven't gone over to the website, vosjourney.com, check that out. We do a lot of things to help you grow your voiceover business. And I really thank everybody. Please stay safe and healthy. And you know what tomorrow is? We got Fiverr Friday strong tomorrow. So I'm excited because that website has been blowing up. So good and excited to talk about it. All right, you guys, thank you. Get started on your challenge today. And I look forward to talking to you soon. All right, you guys, see you later. Goodbye. Goodbye.